Hey guys, cheers. Wink. All right.
Brought to you by Red Bull.
Cheers. Hey, Royce, you got all the good cheers. What's a good cheer right now? No?
To the SEC. May they live long and prosper.
we're talking basketball, right?
I was going to say, of course, he's talking about the basketball tournament, and they have a record 14 teams in, so we're just bringing facts today already.
Absolutely. So that
we
the
are
other SEC.
South.
Right?
Yeah. So we could talk about the XRP and SEC.
Could do another
anyway.
For sure.
All right, so this is Arbitrage After the Bell. We love Red Bull, I guess. If you guys would like to sponsor us, please
that's how we say wait.
Call me. All right. We do it here a lot, by the way, the Red Bull. So it is Arbitrage After the Bell. It's Wednesday, and I'm Darin with Arbitrage Trade, and we have in some hallway bathroom looking thing, we have to your top right, we have Daniel, who's back. Everybody welcome him back. Yay. Welcome back, Connor. Yay. All right.
Wi-Fi worked this time, kind of.
That's right. And we got the banker down in the bottom left, who's going to conquer the world, as you can see behind him. And then we have the most important person who is, he's doing work as we speak even. And it's Royce Wells. Yep. Everybody's calling him today. What do we do next? What do we do next, Royce? And he says, I'm not a financial advisor, but if it were me, I would do.
No, I don't. I don't say that at all. That is 100% you. If anything.
He trains people how to use our indicators, and they use them to their advantage, which is awesome. So as we always do, let's get started here with the tail of the tape, or the markets, what's going on lately. Of course, today, this is Wednesday, we record this, and today we had Mr. Federal Reserve come out and just Mr. Powell in jawbone, but this time he didn't jawbone. Really, he was just kind of a neutral and said things are staying the same. And this is right after the Bank of Japan last night, decided they weren't going to change anything either. So kind of where we are now is just don't rock the boat, and let's see what happens. And if people find out what really is going on behind the scenes, in my opinion. So go ahead and kick us off, Daniel. You wanted to talk about SPY and Bitcoin and gold. You can get us started on what you want to talk about.
Yeah, so I mean, just general market overview is, I feel like things have just kind of continued the trend they were in, or kind of stayed in a general channel. So the S&P still kind of in correction territory, had a little bounce off some resistance. It's down, I think, 8% now instead of 10 from its highs. Bitcoin is still kind of slowly drifting down and sideways, but gold decided to hit an all-time high of 3K this week.
Finally popped over.
Yep, and still showing some pretty strong, momentum in that direction, as the dollar has, had its big shift down and kind of started to consolidate a little. But the VIX was sitting at 20, I believe. I looked this morning and it dropped again. So volatility is coming down a little bit, so that might help markets bounce for who knows how long. But on the other side of the world, we have China continuing higher. So it's kind of interesting. For a long time, it was kind of the U.S. is the only place to invest, and now I don't know the exact numbers, but we've seen some of the largest capital outflows of U.S. stocks in the recent weeks going to foreign equities.
And all over the quote, another stimulus, which will those never work. We'll just see how long that lasts, I assume. And then throw in the geopolitical and
the interesting thing is that, at least like with China, is that I was actually trying to read like a lot of Bloomberg stuff to see if there's like an article to kind of write. And China they're calling it the Xi put now, and people are bullish, but still reading it, they're like, yeah, if they like really want to stimulate the economy and hit these targets, they need to do a lot more than just kind of, be like, yeah, we're going to support our tech more. They need to kind of pump trillions in, because, they're kind of still coming off some like stagnant growth and like a down economy and down consumer sentiment.
Yep. Yep, I have read that, the Z put. And by the way, we're going to talk about that in deep dive, Daniel and I. So a little plug for what we do on Friday.
You
We
are
will
not the
it'll be released.
No, you've been canceled. You have been canceled, sir.
Okay, Daniel will be talking about
Who
it by
told you that,
himself.
Heath?
The only way to redeem yourself is more Red Bull.
Yes.
I expect it early in the morning.
Red Bull said we only had to do 1 minute of promo. We don't have to do 2. I'm kidding, not sponsored.
You can't talk about Fight Club.
Yeah, that's right. Or dollar. For the dollar. So that's the general overview. Now let's get into more of the meat here. Some facts and figures from the market. And I have said this all along. They kept saying that, hey, we've had a rotation. We've gone from the big guys, and we're finally starting to do a healthy thing, which is to go into the rest of the market. I call BS then. And now, as Daniel has brought up, give us those Mag 7 facts there, Daniel.
Yeah, so the Mag 7 accounts for 25% of the market cap of the world stock index. So not just the US, the entire world. And the Mag 7 has a higher combined market cap than any other entire stock market than the US. So that means all of Mag 7 is bigger than all of China, which is like
I saw that
absurd,
fact this past week.
you know?
I'm glad you remembered to bring it up because it's like, come on, guy. I mean, we've been saying it. We know it. We know that it's just way overvalued in our.
We have 7 continents. Now we have 7 big companies. Come on, let's form that corporate Congress that we've been talking about.
That's right. Hey, there's a good blog for you too. Write it down, Daniel.
Who gets which of those companies
Congress?
gets by the U.S.?
What now? Which one
So
was in the
which
US?
of those 7 companies gets to buy the U.S. if each one gets a continent?
Dude, you already seen President Musk. I mean, Trump.
Co-president.
I'm still waiting on Congress to come out with like the the race car drivers uniforms and have all the different companies on them about who sponsors them.
Oh yeah, those are good
90s.
memes.
That's so 90s. Come on, you're not big until you're on TikTok.
Okay, soccer too. You're not, that's not the only sport. All right, then you said something about small caps being at their lowest.
Yeah.
So
yes,
it's even
so
a bigger
small caps relative to the just like general S&P is at its lowest level since the tech bubble of the 90s.
Yep.
So we're seeing a very similar formation of overvalued stocks, stocks priced relative to the S&P. History doesn't repeat itself, but it also often rhymes.
Oh,
and
it's
so
a rap
these,
student for sure. Yep.
These aren't these aren't the prettiest indicators. That being said, this is one of those things where this isn't the first time I don't know if we've talked about on the show there, or I've at least read these similar things in the last 3 years, and we have yet to see that recession. That being said, now everybody's applying for law school, so maybe everyone's anticipating it.
Because the law school thing, because the last time it was recession, right? That's what you're saying.
Oh yeah, and anytime a recession happens, law school and like grad programs see an increase of applicants by like 20% over the entire applicants like of the last 10 years.
So it's the law school application indicator. Thank you. You came up with a new one. All right, let's give Josh over there, who's been squirming over there, and just give us some comments about what he thinks about the Mag 7. I mean, again, we keep talking about this. So it's nothing new for us, and it's definitely something that we've seen coming. And somehow they keep pushing it forward and forward and forward. And from what I'm hearing, things are drying up, and you just can't keep playing that same game because you aren't getting the same free money. So go ahead, Josh.
Well, I mean, the interesting part about this for me, especially when you compare or make the point that the Mag 7 has 25% market cap of the world stock index. Like, So what you're basically telling me is you've got 7 companies that are propping up the entire world's economy. And that screams fragile. Like that is not something that we're going to look at it, in history and be like, oh yeah, this is great and a wonderful thing. I genuinely believe, like, I don't want to go back to the whole doom and gloom nonsense, but it does make me a little bit uneasy that, you've got all of these companies, especially because everybody's relying on us to kind of prop up the entire world's economy. We are in turn relying on these 7 companies. And when one of those companies is like NVIDIA, which is being undercut by China, which is China's economy is now booming. The other one being Tesla, which is, well, I don't want to get too geopolitical on this particular topic, but I think everybody knows what's happening with Elon Musk and Tesla and SpaceX and everything that's going on. It's just like, I don't see how this ends well. I really do hope that I'm wrong, but I just, at this point, I don't see how this actually ends well.
So I learned something very important while on this adventure, right? Typically, they drive the price down just to get everyone out before announcing something really huge. This allows them to buy back their stock at stupid prices and then reap the benefits of their huge announcement. So basically, I'm going to steal thunder. Have you guys heard of the new Tesla jet?
Nope.
No.
They said that it's going to defy the laws of physics, how it lands and takes off. No longer needs a runway.
Seems legit.
A
It's
helicopter.
like that one fighter jet that can like do the vertical.
Yep, exactly. Up and forward.
You can just use an Atari joystick in the front.
maybe.
Yeah, but is this
Oh,
gonna,
Darren,
is
you
this gonna be
can't
like
drive the plane.
How is this not going to end up like
100% electric?
I mean, how is this not going to
fly
end
it
up
to
like
cold.
the whole Tesla hoopla that we got a couple of months ago, where they literally were like painting on parts of the cars, and none of like everything that they were saying was, oh, these are new taxis and like the robo taxis and all these vans and things that were going to come in and help these delivery drivers. And basically half of it was a lie, almost to the point of like, we talked about Nikola back, and how that whole thing failed. Like, and that gave me there are a lot of similarities between that song and dance that we got out of Tesla to the song and dance we got out of Nikola. And I don't understand how this is going to be any different.
We'll see. Like I said,
Just to bring everything back.
I do think the one difference is, sorry, go Royce.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, we at least know Tesla knows how to make working cars, where Nikola never had anything that
Yeah, but this is not
resembled
working
a
cars.
car.
This is a working fighter jet.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I was referring to the robo taxis and
Okay.
stuff.
Sure.
At least we know Musk knows how to make a jet. Now,
Yeah.
can he make a retail jet? I
Uh-huh.
don't know. That's way beyond what I do. I'm just
Well,
the marketing
except for
guy.
the fact they make a rocket that goes up and then comes back down and gets caught in the middle of the as it's landing. So I mean, I would think they could handle the jet thing. Yeah, it's just SpaceX is going to get into everything, just like he said they were. They're going to basically be
like
the
I said, it's no longer Tesla Motor, it's Tesla, just Tesla.
Yeah.
Right. And now,
wanna
and think about it, even GE is no longer just General Electric. Now they have a space program. What?
Yeah.
Everyone's getting ready and powering up for the space race. Everyone's powering up for that Space Force that Trump talked about, 8 years ago. And now he's back. Not to use your words, Daniel. He's back, baby. He's back.
I mean, can
NASA
you guys?
what?
I don't know if you guys saw over the
And the
the
astronauts splashed
weekend,
down too.
the Mars footage of the rover up there. Like, why are we so worried about space? Just go to Arizona. Like, it looks exactly the same.
Maybe it is
No.
Arizona. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
And they're supposed to be sending a spacecraft next year to Mars from Earth. Another SpaceX craft. in
And guess what?
2026.
And guess what?
What?
We haven't talked about March Madness, but there's this little basketball tournament going on in college, and X has if you get a perfect bracket, X I think is giving away a trip to Mars, so it would be hilarious.
That's funny.
Don't quote me.
It's
I'm
like-
almost positive though. I remember seeing that earlier today because I did fill out one of those brackets, and then you can fill it out free. And I'm not doing this for Elon.
I'm like, who in their right mind would do that?
No, it's more like who in the right mind can do that, because the odds of scoring, the odds of making a perfect bracket are like 1 in 9 quintillion.
Yeah, that's why.
Oh, okay.
That's why.
Okay.
By the
AI.
way, speaking of AI, and it
That's
proves
one
that
lucky
No,
it's
you
not
need quantum for that.
it proves that it's not an exact science, because even when it says for you to sign up, it goes, go ahead and use Grok if you want to. So I did, and I told it to pick 2025 bracket, and I probably didn't put all the right words in, but it did. It gave me every round and every team and every who's going to win. Unfortunately, about 10 of the teams aren't even in the tournament this year, and it gave some crazy upsets that will never happen. So it's AI is not there yet.
What if it happens? What if we lose Darin to Mars?
It would be funny though. No, I didn't go off of those suggestions. Trust me, but I really should just do it again and then print it out and just see what happens. But again, if those teams aren't in it, it's not gonna happen. So I don't know. It was weird.
Well, you could say, hey, remove these teams as part of the prompt. It's like this team aren't there. These are the teams that are participating. Please print off.
I could say replace blank with blank, maybe. With the right team, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe I need you to help me with the prompts. You're good on prompts.
Yes.
As refining AI.
Hey,
because that's the whole
I
thing.
can do spectacular things with a little AI.
I know it. All right, so let's head on to you already touched on it, but anything else you wanted to say about gold, Daniel? Besides the fact it hit what did it hit? 30 31?
Let's take
Did
a look.
it get up to 31?
Right now it's sitting at 3,041, and it
Right,
just graced 3,060.
60. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
In that neighborhood. So that's an all-time high, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
So I mean, last year is up 26%. This year it's up 15%. And I think the interesting thing is that last year central banks purchased 1,045 metric tons of gold, which is double the amount they did in the 10 years between 2011 and 2021, with obviously China being
No
the
one's
largest.
scared here. No one's scared.
No.
Well,
I wonder if
right?
was it actually delivered though?
I see dollar sign.
I have to believe China took physical delivery. Yes, I don't think
I'm
they
just wondering
entrust
though. Did they
third
test each bar?
parties. Knowing China, well, they took delivery. I don't know if they tested them. They're probably
They had a
swapping them
knockoff.
out for fool's gold and gonna flood the market.
Right, and sell it to somebody else, right?
Right. So, but like looking at this, I just wonder how long can this hedge against the dollar last? And we've talked about this before, and by no means does the dollar get replaced tomorrow. But like, is this kind of the start of other central banks having some kind of backing to their currency and people slowly deleveraging from their dollar positions? We've already seen China says they're not going to buy any more U.S. debt. There's been a lot of sales of treasuries into the market.
We don't need them to buy our
right?
debt. We're good.
I know modern monetary theory, we can just monetize our own debt forever, which is why we need lower rates and cheaper dollar.
That is our economy. The Turkey just hit a all-time low. The lira. I don't know how
They're
you
the
say it.
fourth largest central bank buyer of gold.
Exactly, and they just hit an all-time low on their currency. So
I'll be honest, I'm not worried about Turkey though.
what does that say? What does that say? Yeah. But if we do get into a what did Trump say? World War III. You're causing World War III. They will be they'll be helping someone out. Royce, I know did you want to talk a little bit about the dollar 103 up to 118 or anything like that?
Who said that number? We don't talk about the dollar.
Right now, really?
I'm just throwing it out there.
Man, all right.
Hey, no, I do think that the strength that we're seeing so far in gold and silver basically will rebound a little bit as we come off of and rebalance. So as Trump is standing up the reserve for the cryptocurrency that basically he said that he was going to do, right? Basically, to get those dollars into crypto, to get those crypto reserves, you have to go through the dollar. There's no way around that. So I think that basically the move into gold and silver is just so that way you can have something against the dollar. So that way when you move it, you can sort of do like a cloak and dagger. Hey, gold's falling, and meanwhile, we're stockpiling the reserve.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And so the dollar rises as gold and silver start to decline, and they just think that's the natural progression of gold and silver. Meanwhile, they're not telling you that those dollars are actually going from gold and silver directly into the dollar and directly from the dollar into Ethereum, Bitcoin, Cardano, Solana, XRP. I think those were the 5 or 6 that he mentioned.
I believe so,
but yeah, it's like this is not even entertaining at this point. It's like, okay, I see your playbook, right? So
which is why the SEC dropped their lawsuit to XRP. Probably.
Hey, I thought they just played basketball. Stop that.
Yeah. So you have to me it seems like gold. The dollar is 103, 106, and 113, and it keeps playing between those. And so is the next step going to be 106 and then on its way up to 113? Maybe, I don't know.
Without me pulling out the charts, I can't tell you that.
Yes. I'm just saying in my head though, it seems like those are the numbers that seem to it sticks on. So
resonate.
Looking at the charts.
Yeah, because basically I think the low was right at 101. So it's hugging 103.46 currently.
Mm-hmm.
And if I had to be a bit
hugging hard on 103.
and it's oversold. So this should be support. Looking at this on the weekly time frame, it's going to have a hard time getting past 105 because there are 2 support lines. The mean line of the arbitrage band and the RSI line are basically both holding that 105 area. So getting above that is key for the next rally. So I need to get to 105, get above 105, and hold 105. And then basically the next mile marker is 105 to 106. And then you have another basic point of contention at about 109.90. And if it's able to get above that, that's where SAR changes its direction. And at that point, we should be in a full-on buy for the dollar with a top out near about 115.28.
Okay, so it's threes. 103, 106, 109.
Hey, let it be what it's
112,
going to be.
115. That's right. All right, I'll get back to over here. Okay, so we've talked about that enough. So let's go on to off the dollar because we don't feel comfortable talking about the dollar. Let's go to.
No, we're comfortable. We're just saying we like it. We like.
We're making lots of money off of foreign exchange.
Bad. We like the dollar.
That's right. Because again, we make it up and we make it down. Historical market.
You
declines.
may make it up, but.
What? Mine's all stuck in some old stock. Which is about $3. Speaking of threes, is another 3, which owns a mining, silver and gold mining company, has partial investment in it, and it's at $3. That it's just weird how numbers end up here. All right, so
I feel like Darin's like one of these girls that like, ooh, it's 11:11, make a wish.
So what? So what if
one of my favorite memes is saying like drawing trend lines. This is just astrology for men.
Mm-hmm. Fundamental investing is out the window.
Yeah. Yeah, we just know a programmer.
Well,
the ones that make the algorithm.
speaking of fundamentals here, this will be a nice pivot. Can you guess what the PE multiple is of when the .com bubble in the 2022 everything bubble happened?
I thought it was, I don't know why I want to say 41 or 31. I don't remember which.
No, probably closer to like 20.
Bingo.
That's where we are.
Guess what it is now?
Yep.
20.4.
Everybody
Funny,
move.
And the thing is, the scary part is that's after this correction.
Maybe 31 was what it is for NVIDIA. It seemed, I remember 31 coming out somewhere. One of the big 7. I'm almost positive.
Yeah, so this number is for the S&P as a whole.
And I wonder what just the 7 is, though. That'd be an interesting number to know too, what their multiple is.
That's probably crazy with NVIDIA.
Just those set. Yeah, it's probably, I mean, it's got to be 25 to 35, somewhere in that range, somewhere. What was Cisco when it first time around when it was?
It never recovered.
That's right. All right, so you had some other facts here about you said, I guess it's historically what happens when you get a 10% decline. Things often get
so
much
worse. When you get a
right.
10% decline, things get worse. It typically takes 72 days for the decline to end, and when it the low point of the decline often ends up being that 20%, which they consider a recession. But that being said, once it hits the recession level, it takes even longer to recover. And just back to our PE ratio, the 2 times we hit the 20.4, we had the .com bubble, which was a 49% decline, and then the everything bubble in 2022, which is a 25% decline. Now, obviously, just because we corrected 10% right now does not mean that these things are about to happen. But when you do the full 10% decline, it does show historically it's not the prettiest road that you're about to have a journey on, which, if you look at, kind of read between the lines of a lot of the Trump rhetoric, it's actually pretty okay with, crashing the stock market for a little bit. So I would not be surprised if this is, maybe a little continuation that we're going to see.
Yeah, he was not afraid to say that we're going to have a little pain. And I think we're back up to like 8% now down, right? I think another 2% back up from the 10. Is it just 8% down now for the year?
Yeah, it's like 8
that.
or 8.5, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you know what I've been saying, and if so, you say 72 days. Who knows when that actually started, that date? But if we look at 72 days from now, guess what month it's almost at?
Well, it's end of May, according to this article.
Which is, I've been saying June.
So bad, guys. Give him June. Give him June.
I've been saying June.
So bad.
I'm sorry. What's
I want to be right on
You'll have to remind
something.
me.
On.
Or is it that day that you brought up that we're not allowed to talk about?
Like, we're only in a correction. Like, we bounced sort of kind of well off of that 200 moving average, and realistically most corrections don't end up in a recession. Like, there are quite a few of them that do, but the vast majority, it's like, I think it was like 60 or 70% of corrections bounce back after the first 3 months, which kind of coincides with your 72-day thing. So it's not that unreasonable to think that we did kind of, rather than like a dead cat bounce, we did kind of just correct a little bit, and now we're kind of seeing the bottom of it, and we could continue to move up, and we're not going to end up in a full-on bear market.
So recession, he said. He said a recession doesn't happen, but he didn't say depression doesn't. So, hey, here we go.
Recession, depression.
This is like when we do our betting and you have to pick the highest or lowest. It's like we're either good or we're really bad.
I got to tell Josh to quit watching CNBC because he sounds like all the analysts now.
I mean, the one thing that, you talk about all these various bubbles that we've encountered, the one, especially over the past like 25, 30 years or so, the one thing that we haven't thought about is that we haven't had to factor in was inflation, and we're still fighting inflation. And so that correction really could have just been, the last bit of inflation that we needed. If we could just, or the last bit of, getting rid of the little bit of inflation that's left. And if we could just figure out a way for Trump to stop doing all of these tariffs and just figure out, just actually smooth things over a little bit, then I think we'll actually kind of be okay.
What fun would that be?
I mean, yeah, if you want to throw all of your 401k in VIX, like, yes, you're doing really well right now. But everybody else,
I could have. I really could have, and I almost did, but
Josh,
I've been calling VIX like a champion.
hey, Josh. Trump just called and said that since you talked about him, there's going to be some tariffs placed on you. So just be looking in your mail.
Florida will get their own set. They will.
Yes, I mean, you're going to get canceled or fired or something.
And now it's the United States of Florida, and specifically they would like you as their new leader.
I mean, I've already moved from the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America.
Yeah.
So
there you go. I don't know why they put an A there. It should just be America.
America.
Go for America.
By the way, oh yeah, I guess an EU in there somewhere. Hey, Royce. So, I mean, in your opinion, are we headed towards possibly stagflation or already there, based on what's going on?
It depends. What do they say our current unemployment is?
It's in the 4.1. Between 4.0 and 4.2.
Literally 3 to 4% is literally the textbook definition of stagflation.
And then wages did go up a little bit, but I mean, it's if inflation keeps going up in spite of what we're doing, I mean, it's just the definition of stagflation seems to be happening, and we're at least going in that general direction. So what does that mean if that happens?
Do you want the honest answer or the one that basically won't get us canceled?
Oh, okay.
Because
let's talk about the next subject. Is
give that answer while I get my computer charger.
There you go.
Oh, see, you just can't trust those guys over there. Once again.
Stagflation, anytime stagflation actually happens, typically you need a major event that makes you spend a lot of money. And unfortunately, typically that major thing that makes you spend a lot of money is usually war. It's usually war. So
because if you don't, then it's just going to last for a long time, right? I mean, stagflation lasts years and years and years.
No. The other thing is basically to counteract it. You can start messing with a country's GDP to basically say, hey, okay, can we produce what we're producing elsewhere to basically get rid of some of the jobs here, so that way more people are applying for jobs, there's more employment, and basically, you've given the jobs to other places.
I feel like China and Germany are doing that, or at least Germany is for sure.
Yeah,
right now.
So if you can lean on someone else's GDP, that might help you get out of it. But once again, the easiest way, unfortunately, is usually war.
Yep.
That, or you figure out another way to employ more Americans. So in previous history book scenarios, they actually said, hey, women, go to work. So basically they had all these people at home and then they sent them to work. This is a true story. They, from being nurses, from doing this, doing that, they literally, it's like, okay, half your workforce isn't working, put more people out there, create more jobs, secretaries, operators, whatever. We need more people working, right? You need something that's going to force people to buy more and spend more, right? And you got war, or, hey, child labor laws. Who knew?
Gotcha.
So you got. Let me recap. You've got mass layoffs. You have half of the population can't afford basic needs, and yet that doesn't align with any of those things. So yes, you are going to have some kind of like black swan event. Here, there's a throwback. We'll use one of your terms. Like, let's get a black swan event.
And yeah, a black swan event, basically, but that's just that creates a knee-jerk reaction because the black swan, it doesn't stay down. It dips and comes right back up, right? So like a black swan event would be like the COVID-19 crash of March of 2020. It went down and came back up. It'd be like the August 19th of 2015, drops huge, and then that same day bounces right back up. So for those people who are quick, great, but once again, that's just fixing the market. That's not necessarily fixing the economy overall. Black swan event, while can be devastating for some, but it's only devastating for those people who panic. If you don't panic sell, you win. Just like anyone who basically lived through their 401k being cut in half in 2008, if they literally just held the line and didn't panic, they're up 400 to 500% in their portfolios as of today. So typically the buy and hold usually win in this type of scenario. But for as far as wages, I think we're switching more to like a gig economy. Everybody, well, not everybody. A lot of people in America are saying, I need a side hustle. I need another job. I need something to offset the fact that my primary job is not paying me enough. And that's where that's why things are getting stagnant, because even the jobs that used to be low-hanging fruit for like the teenagers, for the people who are just entering the workforce, they're like, sorry, I got a 40-year-old guy over here doing that job. Sorry, welcome to Walmart.
Well, the banks also they're starting to fight each other. And I've said this for 4 years, is that nothing's going to change until the elite fight the elite. And right now, there are a lot of loans out there.
Fighting, though?
Well, hold on though, but there's a lot of loans out there that one bank is saying they need their money from the other bank, and that hasn't been happening because they can't just go out and borrow anymore. The liquidity is not out there like it used to be, so they can't, unless they go to private, which is a whole nother conversation. But they're being asked now. There's lawsuits out there now asking for money from one bank from another. And these are bigger names too. So, I mean, that's starting to happen, and it hasn't happened in the 4 years that I've been following it.
Well, I will ask you, have you ever heard of something called an ESIP? I literally was talking about this with Daniel earlier today.
What's the letters?
ECIP.
ECIP. Nope.
So basically, it's when a bank has extra capital on hand, and they basically can loan it out to other banks or other people. Typically, you can't time an ESIP. Basically, it's just random. Like someone makes a random deposit, and now they have more cash on hand than they should. But almost every bank at some point in the month always has extra on hand. So it's like the fact that, and the other funny thing about banks is they can loan each other money overnight at a certain rate. And so that basically that bank makes money for lending out their extra money.
Right.
So the fact that they look like they're fighting, I don't buy that. It's like, hey, you're not paying. You're not. No, they all.
These are just actual lawsuits.
Fight over money. The rich people figure out how to make money flow.
So you're saying the lawsuits are just window dressing?
Or nothing. If I had to basically honestly say what it was, the lawsuits are just a way to get right off.
There
you're not trying to win. You're just trying to spend money.
Right. And the tool they use is FedNow, right? They can just boop, which was created a couple of years ago. The FedNow. Okay.
Maybe.
I think that's how they do overnight quote transfers. Probably in between all the.
They use the Swift system. Swift's the
I don't know if that's part of it or not. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. When I was doing my really deep dives, that was fun when that rolled out, because it's like, okay, they can do this in between earnings reports. This guy can say I had a great earnings, and then FedNow it over to the other bank before it's their earning and go, hey, we do too now. So anyway,
but it's one of the big issues. It's one of the big concerns about, like, everybody's talking about an actual massive crash, is that, like, the cash, even like Bank of America came out the other day and said the cash levels were at a historic low at like 3.5%. So like, not only does that create a problem with if you get a market crash, like who's going to be the buyer, because everybody's already gone all in on everything. So they're overextended as it is, Buffett probably being the exception. And these are levels going back to like 2010. It's been so bullish that everybody's gone all in on assets, and that now there's no cash. So like, who exactly is going to lend these people cash? And then if we have a market crash, who exactly is going to be the buyers? And you can't let retail.
Well, that's where it becomes a race between digital currency and fiat currency, right? Because basically no one's really using cash. We have credit cards for all that. No one's actually saying physically give me cash, right? So, and that thing is, and that vein of thinking, it's like, okay, we may not give it to you back in this, but this is backed by the dollar. Here you go.
Substitution. Yep.
Yeah. And this is, I'm glad I have my tinfoil hat on, because I wanted to say something. the whole that they're talking about doing, the Doge group was talking about giving everybody $5,000 to every tax-paying American, right? A good way for them to basically deploy that would honestly to give it to them in cryptocurrency, which forces an adoption of cryptocurrency and forces a conversion. So you're not abandoning the dollar. You can literally cash it right out back into dollars if you want. But at that point, every single American would then have access to digital assets and can decide if they want to stay or not.
Okay, and that's how Bitcoin goes to 1 million.
Not necessarily Bitcoin. It could be XRP. It could be Doge. It could be whatever currency. It could be Trump coin. Hell, millennia. Come on.
All right. Well, let's for the sake of time, let's go ahead and move on to crayons. What were you going to do this day? We're going to go, let me pull it up here. We got After the Bell, crayons and charts with Royce Wells. And what are we looking at today? You are going to do XRP.
Yeah. Hey, if I'm already, let's segue, folks.
All right.
Let's segue.
We were kind of talking about it. So,
all right. So, all right. We're on the weekly time frame or even the monthly time frame. Either or, don't really care. We do have a brand new nice green triangle here for the daily time frame, just crossing over on the monthly time frame, and both the daily and the weekly crossing over on the monthly time frame. So looks like XRP might be making a run for it. And coincidentally, the SEC did drop the lawsuit for XRP just this morning. So there's a good chance that basically the jump that happened, I'm not sure if you guys were watching, and we talked about it earlier, it went from about 226 to about 255, 256. So basically it has given back just a little bit. But I do think that XRP will find support somewhere around 320-ish in the near future, and potentially within the next 3 to 6 months, make it up to about $5 and some change. So that you have a chance at 100% return if you're brave enough to enter the market. So that's all I got for these crayons. This is a slam dunk, no brainer. Let's go.
All right, that's Royce with After the Bell, crayons and charts. All right, and so XRP digital, After the Bell digital something. We'll have to start saying that.
It literally jumped, a percent while we were talking about it. So hey, let's go, team.
There you go. All right, so we thought it was going to be a boring week again, and that just Josh was going to win it one more time, and they were just like,
no 4.
I mean, I was happy.
Brother.
He's my teammate, my fellow ape. So I was pulling for him because I hit it earlier in the week, and then it was like boom, went way up. So there was no way I was going to get it. So it blew right through Josh and into Daniel's realm, and then stayed there. So he is the winner this week.
Right.
Yeah, it did. One of his favorite things to say. He's like, I'm waiting for him to say, GE's back, baby.
I should get a point for that. I picked that for him last week, but
that's true. It's what was left. No,
I think
actually,
you
went
allowed him to have that spot. more than
Yes,
anything.
I pretty much allowed him because he's always up and to the right, baby. That's what he says. Those are his words.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
Is your dad Dick Vitale? And sports people. All right, so let's go. All right, so let's go to what are you going to pick there, Daniel? What is your stock?
NEM Newmont.
Okay, so while Royce is pulling that up, actually, I'm going to show the chart for everybody to see.
NEM.
All right, so while he's pulling that up, I've got the chart up. The apes are now at 3, and the quantitutes are at 2 now. And Royce and I are still waiting for our first mark. But we're like the underdogs in the March Madness. We're coming for you, baby.
I'm letting Daniel have this one all the way.
You're like a 12 seed.
All right.
Yeah.
All
right.
Got it up yet?
I got it up.
All right, here we go. NEM, Newmont Corporation. This is the chart. It's currently at about $48.
Currently at about $48. And it looks like the range is about 40 to 50. Yeah, let's say that 40 to 50. So everybody gets about 250. So what say thou?
You said, what's the full range?
$40. So basically, roughly the bottom, basically on going to the 2 hour and 4 hour, because they technically way heavier because they're longer time frames. You got a bottom of about that's roughly around $39, $40 with a top out about $50.
Okay, 40 to 50 then. Got it. So the bottom is 42, 50 and below.
Correct.
Okay. And you're first there, Danielle. I mean, Daniel.
I'll do, what is it, 45 to 47.50?
Yep. And G, who are you picking next?
Remember what they did to us for 4 weeks.
Let's wait for that.
I'm not saying anything here.
I'll probably have to go with the guy who picked my winner last week.
That's what I'm talking about. Team player. And I'm taking 47.50 and above.
So they're going to give us the middle again.
It'd be 47.50
no bottom.
50, right?
Yeah, 47.50 to $50 is mine.
Yep. And then
So
Daniel, you had
47.50. I win.
What'd you have again, Daniel?
45 to 47.50.
So they got the tops. Okay. All right. Now you have to actually pick somebody. Mr.
Dude, what's the scorecard look like? Does Darin need some help?
Darin hasn't scored in like 10 weeks. He's fine.
Josh, I think you.
Wait a minute. How do you know my dating life?
I think we got to give this one to Darin. We got to give him a shot.
All right. Okay, fine.
It never works when I'm third, or second, or first, or fourth.
I was gonna say, do you want to go fourth? I can revert to Josh.
Then I have an excuse at least. I went last. I had no choice. Yeah. Ooh. Huh. Man, I just think it's gonna stick in the middle. So I'm gonna have to go 42.50 to 45.
All right. So now I'm gonna not cheat and show you what else I turned off. All right, there you go.
plus.
Well,
Three things says it's going up as its next move.
I was about to say, like, for the record, what I really want to pick is 50 and above.
But hey,
Nice.
No, that's already there. That's basically stretching probability. That's outside the range.
I'm just putting it out there on the record.
Come on, Black Swan. 1 week. You got 1 week here.
It's not even that. It's not even that improbable.
No, it's not very improbable. I mean, hey, believe me, next week we'll be talking about it and laughing.
And you know what? And
Well, one
Josh,
of us can
you can still win with your dollars and laugh at all of us because I'll probably forget to enter this trade.
Might have to buy some calls for next Friday.
Never
Okay.
buy. You're supposed to sell. But you got to accumulate first.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I got you. All right. Well,
you sell it at the money, right?
Yeah. I
we're gonna have an options class here.
Fully expect this one to hit 50 plus.
You heard it here.
And this man's bullish on silver, huh? Guy loves his precious metals.
It's their
It's like
turn.
we just talked about how everybody's buying them.
If I could do the voice, I'd do like the whole, my precious thing. But yeah, no, don't want to be.
Yeah, it depends on those shorts. All right, so let's go. Let's go ahead and wrap it up here, guys. Appreciate it. Again, it's always kind of fun and exciting. Fun and exciting could be good or bad within a week's time. So I'm glad to have everybody back here, including our Asia counterpart. And hopefully we will see everybody here. Good job. You made it through. The only thing you had a little blackout period there to get your charger. But after that, it was all good. So we will see you again next week on Arbitrage Trade after the bell. Bye.